In this lesson, we're going to be talking specifically about sedimentary rocks. But before we get started, let's review one more time what a rock is. We're going to have to ask our is question. Is what we have a mixture of minerals, organic matter, and other materials like sediment, little pieces of rocks, things like that? If it is, then it is a rock. We also know rocks are classified by how they are formed, how they are actually made inside the earth or outside the earth. And we also know there are three main types of rock: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Each are formed in their own specific way. So here's a great example of sedimentary rocks, and we'll learn a little more what these layers represent. But you can see all these different lines represent different layers that have accumulated over millions of years. So sedimentary rocks are formed as sediments, or small pieces of weathered down rock and land, are slowly eroded or moved to an area, and they fall down and lay there. It's called deposition. They are dropped there. Then, over time, another layer will begin to pile up and add pressure on that lower layer. That's compaction. It starts compacting the first layer. As more layers or strata get put on, it compacts that bottom one even more. Thinking about laying on top of something, the thing on the bottom is going to be smushed or compacted the most. So then at the end, when all these layers have been compacted, they become cemented together. You'll call it cementation, or you might see it as lithification. The rocks are then formed deep down where they are compacted and cemented together. So here's a really nice overview of how it all happens. We've got weathering going on. So something is breaking down some rock. It may be by weathering of water. It may be wind. It may be animal. It may be human. But something is weathering. Something is breaking down a rock. That rock is then moving. That's called erosion. The rock is moving somewhere else. In this case, it's moving to a small river or lake. Okay? And it's depositing. That means it's dropping down. It's layering up. So the next time more comes and puts another layer. The next time more comes and puts another layer. And after millions of years, you've got lots and lots of different layers, with the bottom layer being the most compacted because of the pressure from above. Finally, all those layers are compacted and cemented together to make a sedimentary rock. Our final product in this one is sandstone. So let's look at some special features about sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks may have some fossils, or they may have some layers. Anytime you see a fossil in a rock, it has to be a sedimentary rock. Organisms get buried under the sediments. The layers layer upon them over and over again, leaving the indentation or the impression of what was there. So here's a good example of limestone with a shell and some shale that has, looks like a fern leaf maybe. So fossils are in a special feature of sedimentary rock. Another really special feature are the layers. You'll see layers because, remember, sediment comes in and lays down. Another layer of sediment comes in and lays down. So they're laying down in specific layers or sheets as they get compacted together. And you can see they're different because over years and years and years, the soil is going to change and they're going to come in and bring different kinds of sediments with them. So your layers are many times going to be different colors and different thicknesses. So let's take a look at the Grand Canyon. There's a lot of layers, and these layers were built up over millions of years. The sediments that form these rock layers were deposited over and over. Okay, they came in as the ancient ocean shorelines. Okay, they would bring in more sediment and they would drop it, and they bring in more sediment. So our oldest layer is here at the bottom, where our newest layer is here at the top. And we can see over the millions of years, the bands are thicker or thinner. The layers have different colors. And on the top, you can see there has been some erosion. So over the top up here, some of it has gotten weathered away and eroded away. So again, the Grand Canyon, a great example of sedimentary rock. So let's look. What clues do you see? When you're looking at these sedimentary rock, what helps you determine that it's sedimentary? So look at the one in the top middle and the bottom left. They both have something really special that sedimentary rocks have. They have fossils. In the upper right, you'll see a rock that has very distinctive layers. So we know that it has layers. These are our two special features. Then in the bottom right and the top left, these both are very obvious conglomerations or mixtures of all kinds of different sediments and rocks that have been kind of cemented together. Finally, this one down here next to the bottom right is a lot of different smaller sediments that have been cemented together to make this a sedimentary rock. So sedimentary rocks can look very different, but they all are formed in exactly the same way.